Well, hello there everybody, hope that you're all good and welcome back to another Max Battle Guide. Here today talking about Dynamax Moltres, the next upcoming Max Monday boss. And as it stands, this one, final one of the legendary trio from Kanto, but also potentially the most damage dealing one as well. So how are we going to take it down? What are your best counters? What could you power up in the next couple of days to make sure you have a chance of taking these down if you have a squad available, that is. Once again, shout out to Pokémon GO Hub for their guide. Opened it up straight away when it was published, and Dynamax Moltres coming in, it's a fire flying type. Once again, we're lacking the rock type Dynamax Pokemon, so we're going to have to counter it with electric and water. And your 100%er, of course, is going to be 1980 CP. If you see that one, do your best to catch it. If you're on the last ball, I really hope you have a Master Ball available. Probably alike to Zapdos and Articuno preceding it, it will be doable for those with decent counters, but a team of 4 should be able to take it down if they have the right stuff. Now, where are we going with attackers? Of course, Gigantamax is going to take the top spot, and as you can see there, the one that was not so easily available, Gigantamax Blastoise, is prime top counter with Water Gun, and obviously its water type G-Max move. G-Max Kingler, the one that's available in this Saturday's Max Battle Day event. That is actually slot number 2, so that might be quite good if you can get 1 or 2 Kingler G-Max done. You have yourself a pretty decent counter. Then we're diving back into G-Max Toxtricity. Of course, G-Max Pokemon are vastly more powerful than D-Max Pokemon, Dynamax Pokemon. Once those 3 Gigantamax Pokemon are out of the way, we're into the regular Dynamax stuff with Dynamax Blastoise. Of course, that should be fairly easy to acquire because Squirtle's in the rotation. Regular D-Max Toxtricity is still there. That one, unless you play Go Wild Area, not available. But Inteleon, it's good to see the Generation 8 Sobble evolution being available. Sobble is in the rotation right now, so you can go and chase that. Kingler as the Dynamax version. Krabby has been around in the rotations for a fairly long time, so that might be a decent one to get. And somehow, right at the very bottom, Dynamax Zapdos. Quite funny to look at Dynamax Zapdos. This list may shuffle around a little bit, but at the moment, I find it hard to believe that a Dynamax Legendary is less powerful than a Kingler. Of course, we've talked about strategy before, so if you're priming one of those counters as your attacker, make sure its attack max move is at tier 3 or as high level as you can get it. Of course, it takes XL Candy of the Pokemon to be able to unlock the 3rd tier of damage. If you're building up a team, choose one of those Pokemon and make it your attacker. That's the one you're going to switch into when you're Dynamaxing or Gigantamaxing into the triple move section of the battle. There's a very short list of defenders here, and these are the ones that are going to resist the most moves, of course, from Moltres. Moltres has mostly fire moves, apart from Ancient Power. It shouldn't get Sky Attack because Sky Attack is a legacy move, but then again, Hurricane was available on Articuno, so perhaps it will learn Sky Attack. Excadrill is a pretty good defender, although I would say watch out because Excadrill will be weak to fire. This is where it might be better to actually bring in a water type to hold the fort here. You could use Dynamax Metagross. Metagross is a very staple one, as we said beforehand. My recommended pick would be a Blastoise, be it Dynamax or Gigantamax, because they will resist the fire moves really, really well. And that's if you're going to do the Max Guard. Max Guard is the shield move. And finally, your best healers. There's quite a few more here, and it's basically the same list for the first 4. So Metagross and Excadrill, you could just bring them in as an absolute tank. You should be able to keep that one basically ready and healed up, which is great. Your Blastoise duo of Gigantamax and Dynamax are still in there, but of course, Lapras is a pretty good one, and we've been utilizing that. You saw it on the Dynamax Zapdos Max Battle Monday video. We were using Gigantamax Lapras as a bit of a tank, even though we were using the Ice move on it. And G-Max Toxtricity, of course, those 2 G-Max Pokemon are very, very usable. And of course, if you don't have a Gigantamax Pokemon, not everybody does, we're aware of this. Blastoise, again, may be the recommended choice for your healer and defender Pokemon. Basically, just get the Max Spirit and the Max Guard leveled up on it because it's going to resist those fire moves from Moltres. And then the rest of the article is talking about the actual battle format, and if you want to go and check that out, I'll put it in the description of the video. But that's basically it. Those are the Pokemon you should choose. So let's prepare a team for Moltres, shall we? At the time of recording this, we haven't had the G-Max Kingler battle day yet. So if I get a decent one of those, I will put Max Particles into it and make that my attacker. For now, let's build a team with what we have available. And I've said this before, but if you don't know, you can build Power Spot battle teams and have them ready to swipe over, just like your raid battle teams and your GBL teams in the game. It's in exactly the same menu. So hit the Pokeball in the middle, go to battle, swipe to your parties, and you have to scroll all the way to the bottom, right at the very end of the page is your power spot teams. We had one for Zapdos, and we actually have one ready for G-Max Kingler already as well, so that's fantastic. This one, the Bill wants to take down Moltres. For now, our prime attacker is our G-Max Toxtricity. That has been our absolute savior when it comes to battling these things. For the current time, I am going to use this Excadrill, but because Excadrill is a ground steel type, the steel type means that it's actually weak to the fire move, so having this one in the regular non-Dynamax part of the battle is possibly a daft idea, but we're going to put it in there because in case we need to guard and heal. This is the healing slot, the healer. We could bring in the Lapras, that's max moves and everything like that. We're not going to throw the G-Max Resonance at Moltres, that's the key thing. We'd use it for max guard and max healing. That will do nicely for now, the Moltres team. It's not a bad selector. We do have a super effective attacker. There's the Gigantamax Pokemon we can switch into. We have ourselves a bit of a tank and a defender, which is really, really good. Of course, if you want more battle tips, we'll be doing this a bit more often as the Dynamax Pokemon cycle through and the G-Max Pokemon come through. Let me know in the comments below, are you finding these useful? Would it be good to continue doing them? And particularly, would it be good to bring them back into the regular raid system with legendaries and whatever? If they are useful, I'm happy to provide the help and the content. But if you enjoyed what you saw here, please hit that subscribe button down below and let me know, have you had any success with the Zapdos and will you be going for the Moltres? Of course, we know that the Dynamax system, you really need at least a couple of people in your community to be able to do it. It's worth potentially going out there to get yourself some decent counters so that when you maybe go to a community or community comes to you or something like that, or maybe more people pick up the game, you are ready with some counters because you can still go and use your free max particles to take on Squirtle, Sobble, all the other Pokemon that are available in the tier 1s and the tier 3s. Build yourself up to take on the tier 5s. And again, I've said this before, but don't get the FOMO with these. So I know the likes of myself and other content creators are all like, the absolute hype, Max Monday, some Dynamax legendaries, etc. They will come back. Don't worry. It may take a couple of months, maybe a year or two. Sounds like a long time, but time does move pretty fast, and also Niantic do like to recycle things, so don't fret too much. I'm sure they'll be back in an event sometime in the future. But of course, I have to say a big thanks to the wonderful Patreon squad, whom without we would not be here. Very much wouldn't be here, pushing on through for, over 5 years here on the channel, doing the content, the creation, travel events, bits and pieces, and covering the Pokemon GO excitement and trying to make some good entertainment here on the internet. So I really appreciate every single one of you guys who there take your support up to the next level and really do back what goes on here. So I really appreciate every single one of you. And don't forget, there's plenty of other content to go and check out on the channel. There's more Max Battle Guide stuff. You want to see what happened on Zapdos, you can go and check that out up there. And maybe what happened on the previous Gigantamax Battle Day, Lapras, which is a bit of a soggy affair. So go and check that out. It was one of the more miserable days of doing an event on the channel, and it's sort of shaped how we're going to take on G-Max Kingler in the future. Sticking local on it, but I will say, until the next time, folks, do take care.